Welcome back to the podcast. You know, you talk a lot of crap that you guys want to go start a business, right? Today we've got Chris Heffernan, who's from dlivrd, right? This is a man who ate a cheesesteak and created a business outside of doing that, finding the place. Look, you all say that you want to do something. All of you, everybody I talk to, all you guys that jump on here, you're all like, I want to go start this. I want to do, yeah, you're like, quit talking, start walking. And Chris is going to show you how he did that. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You know, let's go through your journey a little bit. You jump into having a cheesesteak down in Delray, one of the best little cheesesteak spots in Delray Beach, right? And you come up with this idea that says, I want to create a delivery company. Now, it does continue to evolve from that point, but let's talk about how that journey started and what your inspiration was.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't. The coin phrase we have is it all started with a cheesesteak, right? Basically, I was on vacation in Delray Beach, Florida. Like, I'm a bigger guy, right, from Philadelphia. And when I see a Philly cheesesteak sign, I got to check it out because there's a lot of bullshit cheesesteaks out there. In my mind, if you put a pepper on a cheesesteak, like a green pepper, not a cheesesteak. Meat, cheese, onions, roll. That's it. Traditional AF. And I see this sign, Big Al's South Philly cheesesteak. So I'm like, well, I got to investigate. I need to check this out. So I go over, and here in Philadelphia, we order our cheesesteaks weird. At most places, a traditional shop, you get your cheesesteak from one window, but you order your fries and drinks from another window. So I saw that, and that was the first sign that this was like a legit spot. And then they had Lissio's Bakery rolls, which this is back in like 2010, 2011. So he was overnighting rolls from Philadelphia, from Lissio's down there, because the roll is what makes it. You could have a cheesesteak, but put it on a hot dog bun. That's a sandwich, right? These were real cheesesteak rolls. And on the front of that door, it said, we deliver with delivery dudes. This is before Grubhub. This is before Uber Eats, before DoorDash, where you could get pizza and Chinese delivered. But the delivery dudes back then were delivering for restaurants up and down the strip, including Big Al's. And that was like my light bulb moment. Like, I want more than pizza and Chinese delivered. And there was nothing in suburban Philadelphia doing that. And that's when I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do this.
That's awesome. So now look, from I'm going to do this to what's the first step you start into, and look, this is the part that most people get stuck in, right? It's a great idea. They mumble, tumble. I think I'm going to, maybe I'm going to. Oh, I got to be perfect at it. There's this whole ramp up that people do. What's the first thing you do? How do you break in? Where do you break in? How do you start to figure that out?
Yeah, the first thing I did, I just started asking people, would you pay a couple bucks extra to get your favorite restaurant delivered? We started with a $3 delivery fee. Would you do that? And people were like, yeah, I would love that. And in my mind, I was like, restaurants are going to love this idea. They're going to want it, but I just need a way to get those orders. Well, I just went online, bought a website that was made to sell shoes, went on YouTube, learned how to do some basic HTML work, and instead of getting a Nike size 13, you were ordering a burger cooked medium well. So finding something that complemented it but wasn't made exactly for it, because you could buy restaurant software, but that was really expensive. This was like $500 for like an e-com website to sell shoes. And I just made it work for what I wanted. And it got me to scalability. After I got moving, I eventually moved to like a real food tech software.
All right, here, I'm going to stop it. Folks, listen to this right here. Look, it's not the perfect software, but it's got me started, right? Look, just jump in. Perfect software will happen later on. Perfect sign, the perfect business cards, all that perfect stuff that you're waiting to start your business with is nonsense. Jump in with minimum viable product. Right? This is kind of what you're talking about.
100%. If even to this day, if I waited till everything was perfect, we would never move anywhere. The business A wouldn't have started. But even in our current day with 100+ employees and 50 million in revenue, if we waited till perfection on every piece, the business would falter. Like you do it, you try it, you track it, right? So just figure it out. And if it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, do something else. It's not rocket science.
Well, you find out what's wrong faster, right? People are sort of sitting on the line of scrimmage like, I got to do that. No. Just do it. And then if you're wrong, you'll find out faster and you can switch. Now, I mean,
Right.
like, you got to be able to feel comfortable with, you're going to make mistakes. Don't go beat yourself up. I mean, some of us love to beat ourselves up and go, oh, I can't believe I made a mistake. Now, listen, that's part of being an entrepreneur, is that in order to jump into the water, you're going to have to get you're going to mess some things up. And that's just part of that growing the ideas. So keep going. So now you got minimum viable product. You got software that's working. Now you start to grow. Now, what about the big boys? They start coming after you.
Yeah, so I'm still out there delivering, driving around in my Toyota Camry. We started with 4 restaurants. We're up to 52 in the suburban Philadelphia area. Now we're seeing DoorDash become a thing, Uber Eats become a thing, and they're existing in like Philadelphia, New York, San Francisco, the big cities. But eventually they start pushing out into the county where we're at, the suburban area. And at a certain point, they identified the area that my little business operated in as a hot zone. And they were going after the restaurants because they were venture back. They could say, hey, we'll give you no commission, or we'll give you $1,000 if you exclusively work with us. And the pressure really started to mount there. Customers were churning, restaurants were churning, drivers were churning. It was like the literal like house of cards falling down.
Got it. Got it. I mean, look, it's scary, right? You're being attacked by a group that's much more, much better financed. They're ready to go. They've got systems in place. And so what do you do?
Yeah, luckily what I did was I pivoted, right? Epiphany came, second epiphany, right? First epiphany was a cheesesteak. Second epiphany was chicken. So I was, doing a delivery for a Boston market, which is now pretty much defunct, but they're making a comeback. I saw the other day. And we're in there and the manager's like, Chris, I really love that you're bringing me this $25 order. I'm having trouble getting these $250 orders to the pharmaceutical reps. They all come in at lunchtime. They're all going different places. I only need drivers for an hour or two, and we can't keep drivers. We can't send people out of the restaurant. The restaurant's too busy. Can you help with that? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You mean I don't have to worry about getting the customer on my website, credit card fees, marketing, customer service for missing items? You just need me to have someone show up, pick up food and set it up at the customer. And he's like, yeah, like we can absolutely do that. And that's when we started pivoting from like order on our app and order from us this $25 meal to going to handling 6 Boston markets in the Philadelphia area and taking their catering orders to pharmaceutical reps and businesses and work lunches, lawyers' offices, things like that.
It's awesome. Now to talk about that, because look, that's the part market that wasn't there, right? So the big boys come in, Grubhub, Uber Eats, they all come in, they start to attack you. You don't fold, you don't become a house of cards and fold. You pivot. Now, look, this is the part in business that it's relentless fighting to stay alive, right? Because they're always coming at you. The cannibals are always coming at the realm, right? They're always coming at your realm. They'll always be attacking you. Now you just got to find ways, opportunities, stay present, and you pivot. Now you're growing. How many markets are you guys in now?
We're in 172 markets in the US and Canada.
Wow. And what kind of volume are you doing today?
We're doing thousands of orders a day, and we'll bill out 50 million in revenue for the projection for 2025.
That's amazing, right? I mean, so like to me, that's the fun part about where you're at. Talk a little bit about that. What are some of the, so what are some of the things that you're working through now in your leadership and how you're growing this?
Yeah, I mean, the best way that we really grew, like from the start, and we still do it today, is through integration and aggregation partners. So in the restaurant space, it's really hard to sell one by one. Restaurants are sold on linens, they're sold on food, they're sold on packaging, credit card fees, music, TVs, commercials, all this stuff. So getting in front of them to be like, I want to deliver your catering goods, right? Like they don't care. They don't care until they need to care. But when we went to places like Square and Toast and Easy Cater, Olo, the companies that power the technology for these restaurants. So instead of knocking on Joe's Pizza, I went to the software company that Joe's Pizza uses, and then delivered became ingrained in their system. So instead of selling one restaurant, it was 1,000 restaurants or 10,000 restaurants that were right there. And that's what really helped us be able to scale and grow. And that's the same practice that we use today. We do have a sales team, but they focus mostly on integration partners. And then those integration partners lead us to the 30 chain restaurant group, or, the different enterprise brands, or that single mom and pop location.
How are you guys integrating technology to manage that? What kind of systems are you finding to figure that out?
Yeah, and what we had done in the beginning, like when we had that second aha moment, the chicken moment, we needed to reinvent some technology there as well. The system that we had used to get people to order food wasn't really built for pre-scheduled logistics. So I went online, I found a firm in India that sold a white label version of their software. I bought that, went on Upwork, which is a peer-to-peer marketplace to connect with developers, and paid some different freelancers to really like reinvigorate the software for this pre-scheduled work. And for years we used that and built on top of it. And then just recently with our own tech team released our own suite of applications from when a driver says they're interested in delivering on the platform all the way through to when they're paid is all managed in our ecosystem, our driver app, our customer service panel, our restaurant panel, our payment rails, the whole shebang. Our API is all done there. So when we find these other clients, we're integrating with our API documents that our team built.
That's interesting. How are you guys figuring out, your company values? As a leader, you're building these teams across the country. How are you? First of all, what are the values you guys hold dear near to yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, the core value that we focus on is transparency, right? Transparency across all levels. And that starts with the gig fleet, the drivers. All this time, if you look at like an Uber ride, it tells you where you're picking up from and doesn't tell you where you're going. It tells you how much you might earn on a DoorDash order, earn between $7 and $11 on this order. So you're asking these independent contractors, these businesses to make decisions, but not giving them all the information. So we build on transparency. A driver sees where they're going, how much they're making, what they're delivering, how much food it is, all the notes, all before they say, yes, I'm going to take that delivery. And internally, transparency as well. Hey, team, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. This is what the finances look like. This is everything's kind of right there. I would have no problem opening up a QuickBooks P&L sheet and showing it to a team member internally. So transparency is huge. And we just focus on taking care of the customers, taking care of the workers, and doing that in a financially responsible way. And that's going to create value for the business.
How do you keep the drivers from cherry picking? Like, hey, I want to do these ones, short drives, big tips. I mean, how do you keep them from being cherry pickers?
Yeah, and there's drivers that they will cherry pick all day long, and that's fine. Our system is based on like take what you want and decline what you don't want. Drivers don't get quote unquote punished for declining an order. We just ask that you either accept or decline. And the system has guardrails against it. When new drivers come on, they don't get offered big orders because they haven't proven themselves on the platform yet. And it's all a numbers game. The more orders you take, the more money you'll make. The more orders that you do, including those small orders, builds your score, right? The more you're on time, the more your pictures look good, which allows you to get into the tier where you can get offered those cherry pickable orders. So it's all a numbers game. Some drivers get it, some drivers don't. But the minimum pay on the platform is $20 minimum, where most platforms, your average on-demand order can pay 2 to 5. So you're still making more regardless. And we don't say that it's a one-stop fits all app. Do this in the middle of the day. You can do other things other times of the day.
So talk to me a little bit about you. They pick up, and how far do they go at the delivery point?
It depends. The average distance from delivery is 6.3 miles, I believe. For catering orders, it can go up to 20. Anything over 10 miles, we bill the client extra for, and we really discourage it because food quality. Like catering is made, it's a lot of food made at once earlier than the delivery time, and then it's got to travel another 15 miles. Not always the best for the customer, unless it's like a hoagie tray or something like that. But that cheesesteak wouldn't travel well 15 miles.
And creating culture across the country, right? Now you've got your company, you guys are expanding nationwide, and creating culture. How do you do that? Like, what's the secret to having a brand culture?
I think there's no big secret to creating a brand culture. We call it a vibe, right? So like the biggest thing rooted in our vibe is just to not be an asshole, right? Like treat people well, don't be rude. Like when companies are built on multiples, especially in the tech world, they want to build to revenue to multiples. You do that by being an asshole, by growing your business, by sacrificing anything to get revenue. And if you don't do that and you treat people well and you do the fun things that people do for culture. It's not all about a ping pong table. It's about creating the community that wants to be around that ping pong table together. And we do that. And it's even more than just across the country. We have team members across four continents, 4 countries, from Pakistan to Spain to Colombia to the US, all working together in different time zones on different projects, but all for one mission and all together in this vibe.
That's awesome. And when you're doing training across all those platforms, all those regions, how are you doing that? When you look at driver training, how do you set that up, and what have you found that's been most effective?
Yeah, and it kind of ties back to the original where it's like nothing has to be perfect to get it going, right? When we first started, I was training all the drivers myself. I was meeting them in a co-working space, putting the app on their phone, showing them how to use it, giving them delivery bags, and it was awesome and it was great. I did it in Philly, then in Baltimore, then in Washington, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't keep traveling places and onboarding drivers every time we need it. So what we did was we built our own little like mini e-learning video webinar series where, because it's catering and it's more than just that drop off, drivers need to go on, watch some videos, take some knowledge checks before they get onboarded on the platform, and then continuing education for the drivers. When a new client comes on board, they can watch another video, take another knowledge check, and then we parlay that into our internal teams as well, using technology and that human touch to really convey what our clients, our customers, and the drivers need.
That's awesome. What do you see? What do you see coming up at you? Where do you guys see you going the next 5 years? Have you figured that out, or are you able to see that far out yet with all the stuff that's happening in AI?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's so many things that change. What my vision was a year ago isn't what it is today, and I'm sure what my vision in a year will be different than what I have today. And you need to do that as an entrepreneur in a small business. Like, you need to constantly keep changing. The most dangerous phrase in the world is, we do it this way because we've always done it this way. And that's on the wall in like the main area of the office. Like, don't tell me that this is why we do it, right? So where I see us going is just working with our clients better between self-driving cars, AI for call centers. We have a mix of AI in our team, and it helps support what the humans do, where we believe that you need to automate what you can so you can humanize what's important. So use AI for those minuscule tasks, and we want to embed more of that. But when it comes to the conversations that matter, humans are still going to have those, right? When a restaurant needs help, when a driver needs help, humans are still going to do that.
That's all. People want that, right? Look, I love when I can get a hold of a unit. Nothing more frustrating than when you're having a problem, or especially when you're one of those reps and you've got a big lunch and you've got set up, and all of a sudden there's something that's not right, and you can't get a hold of someone who could just solve your problem for you. It's like your heart palpitating because it just feels you're so powerless. All of a sudden you get a hold of one of your angels and get a hold of help out, and it's just a great way to go after it. Like, I got to tell you, having on, watching where you guys are going, I'm excited about seeing how you continue to grow with dlivrd, and the places that all this technology is going to take you. It's inspiring to watch this. I hope entrepreneurs, I hope you guys get that. You're seeing live really what it takes to grow a business, and to step out and actually just jump off the diving board and go and do this. How long have you been in business now, Chris?
The first business started in 2011, the cheesesteak, that was called Food Cab. 2018 is when dlivrd got going, and that's still what's going strong.
That's awesome. If people want to get a hold of you, if they want to have you come speak for them or come talk to them about your entrepreneurial journey, what's the best way for them to catch up with you?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on any social media platform, LinkedIn, you can find me there, Christopher Heffernan. Most of my social media channels are the Hef 215, THEHEFF 215. And you can find me there, or Chris at dlivrd.io. And dlivrd spelled funny. I didn't have enough money to get the E's in it when I bought the domain. So it's dlivrd.io.
That is awesome. I love, look, just another great example of creativity. And by the way, we'll put all those links down below. Chris, if you guys as a company have a mascot or had a mascot, what would your mascot be?
Oof. That's a great question. There's so many, if you look back on different times, it could be so many different things. I would think, personally, I'd go like green is our color, right? Like bright green. So I would go with like a bright green cheetah. move fast and make clumsy decisions, but be targeted in our approach. Like, and it would just like, it's fast. It delivers quick. It's going down to take that antelope. It's going to jump. It might miss. It's going to get right back up and go for the next antelope.
Nicely done. I really appreciate you being on the show. It is inspiring. You're palpable. I can literally feel your energy over here in Goosebumps. So it's great work. I really enjoyed having you on the podcast, Chris. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. It was a great time chatting with you.
You know, audience, last week we had over 4,000 downloads. It was amazing how many of you guys were on here. As always, you entrepreneurs are great, but we noticed that we had 65% of you made it to the end of the show and you were not subscribers. If you could take a second and like and subscribe right now, it means a world of difference to Alyssa and Joe and the team in the background that worked tirelessly to put this together. You guys mean the world to us, and getting great guests like Chris. The numbers do matter. They do want to come on a show that people are going to see. So if you could do that now for me, I would be extremely grateful. And as always, thanks for listening.